Marc Raimondi for ESPN here today with the Sugar Show. Sean O'Malley coming off a absolutely massive win over Petr Yan back last month, UFC 280 in Abu Dhabi. Sean, what are things like? It's been about a month since that fight. How are things, and then what's life like right now for the Sugar Show?
Yeah, it's so crazy that it's literally been, a little over 4 weeks right now. It's like the 4 weeks before a fight feels like 6 months. The 4 weeks after a fight goes by so fast. I've been traveling a lot. I went to obviously it was in Abu Dhabi. Recently went to Vegas, met with UFC, went to Tijuana, Mexico, was just doing Rogan's podcast in Texas. So, today was actually the first day that I went back to competition training, did jujitsu, and about an hour ago, and it feels so good. It's like this kind of high you can't get unless you just get your heart rate spiked up like that and doing jiu-jitsu. So I feel really good.
Does it feel like that you're kind of right there on the cusp of breaking through and becoming the UFC's next big star? You had the biggest win of your career, right, against Yan. Now maybe a title fight next, definitely a big fight next, no matter what. Are you right there, you think?
I think I am. I'm past it. I think I am. Like if you, I mean, it's hard to. If you look at the numbers of UFC 280, the analytics, the data, that was the Sugar Show. Islam versus Charles was massive, but if you really look at the data, that was my card. I sold that one more than anyone on that, and I believe I'm pretty much the biggest star in the UFC right now, or have the potential to be, and I'm right there. But I could go main event a pay per view and do pretty good right now. So yeah, it's been a long time coming, but it also happened, somewhat fast.
And one of the new things too, and I think this also is representative of you being, one of the biggest stars right now is your deal with Timex. I know that you're endorsing Timex now, and Timex is the
Yep.
official timekeeper of the UFC. Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, Timex partnership is just made sense. I like watches. They're the official watch of the UFC. Um, Makes sense.
Makes time, makes sense, right?
Makes time, makes sense, makes money. Everyone's happy.
Are you seeing more of these things come in now for you? With the Timex deal and other things, as your brand grows.
Yeah, I mean, we turn down more than we accept. It's got to make sense. It's got to be, it's got to be the right fit. So yeah, I think just that's what happens when someone starts blowing up. The sponsors start coming in, and like I said, it has to make sense. It can't just be a bunch of random stuff that doesn't make it's got to be authentic. But yeah, it's crazy, but you know we're doing what we got to do.
Yeah, you're someone who from the very beginning you kind of always had an idea of like what your brand was, right? You kind of had an idea of like the things that you should represent and things that should represent you, right? Is that fair?
Yeah, I think I've understood that this isn't a long career. I mean, it is, but it's not. It ends a lot sooner than most careers. So
Sure.
I want to get in, build a brand that's gonna, you know, I'm gonna be able to continue to make money outside of the UFC, after the UFC. Um, so yeah, that's something we've been kind of focused on.
So you mentioned that you had that meeting in Vegas with the UFC, I assume with Dana and probably Hunter Campbell, the chief business officer at the UFC. How did that go?
Hunter was out of town, unfortunately. Sat down with Dana and Sean Shelby. It went really good. It was, there was business, and there was also it was nice to be able to sit down and just have just a conversation, not about my fight, not even about fights in general, but just get to know the boss, get to know them as just normal people. So it was very productive. It was good.
And that's not
Nothing.
something that they let everyone do, right? They don't let everyone just come and hang out with Dana.
Yeah, I mean, you'd be surprised. I think if you're in the UFC and you want to talk to the boss, I don't see them saying no. It's these managers that kind of get in the way, and they want to wiggle their way in, get their 20%, and not even do their job, but make money off the fighters. So I'd say it's most of these fighters. If you want to talk to them, they're gonna make time. If you're in the UFC and you want to sit down and talk to the boss, they'll make 5-10 minutes out of the way, but it's these managers that get in the way and try to separate you from the organization so they can steal their 20%.
You have no manager right now, right?
No, no need. No need to.
Why do you think that?
It's just there's miscommunication. You start getting a middleman in there, and it's just I find it a lot more productive doing the work myself, knowing what's going on, and save a lot of money doing it. So it's worked for me. Maybe it doesn't work for everyone. I'm speaking, obviously for myself. I guess I should have started that out, but yeah, I think it just makes more sense. No one cares about your career more than yourself. So, I mean, you have these managers that have 100 other guys on the roster, have guys in your weight classes. It's like, who are they really looking out for your best interest, or are they, looking out for theirs? So, I enjoy doing it all by myself. I also have people that are very, very smart, a lot smarter than me, helping me, not necessarily in a manager role, but obviously I have lawyers looking over contracts and
Right.
and people that do have my best interest, that aren't taking money from me. So, I'm not literally doing it by myself, but I'm sitting down with the team. I'm sitting down with Sean, Shelby. I'm sitting down with Dana, figuring out what's next. So,
What was their discussion when you met with them in Vegas about what's next?
a little bit, I think the talks, Henry coming back is kind of what's not the hold up, but that's kind of what everyone's waiting for. If I had to guess, Henry versus Aljo. If you're the champ, you should be fighting consistently. You just had a somewhat easy fight against TJ. The people want to see the champ fight. I think Henry versus Aljo in March makes sense if Henry really is serious about coming back, which kind of seems like he is. And then I'd like to fight the winner of that. So it's hard to say exactly what's going to happen next. So I'm just kind of waiting to see where that goes. But yeah.
So right now you're thinking that your next fight might be for the belt, but you may not necessarily be getting the next title shot against Aljo. He might fight Cejudo first.
Yeah, correct. Which is, fine with me. I'm not too worried about it. I know my next fight is for the title. So.
And is that your choice to kind of wait until almost like midway through the year in 23?
I don't mind it. I'm for me mentally right now. I'm starting grappling camp. Whether I fight Henry or Aljo, both obviously excellent grapplers, excellent fighters in general. But like today was my first day of jiu-jitsu camp for the next 6 months, 7 months, whatever it is till my next fight. So, I'm not really too worried about it. I'm just I'm excited to kind of get back to the grind of just getting better and improving.
I saw Aljamain Sterling in New York a couple weeks back, during UFC 281 fight week, and had a chance to talk to him for a little bit. And, he told me that he wants Sean O'Malley next. Sean O'Malley is, in his mind, the number one contender. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I'm the biggest fight. Obviously, I'm
That's
the money
exactly what he
fight.
said. He said you're the biggest fight. That's exactly his exact words.
Well, yeah, I mean, doesn't take a genius to figure that out. Anybody I fight, it's going to be the biggest fight in the division. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell him. I am obviously the biggest fight. I feel like me versus Henry is a bigger fight than me versus Aljo. If you're talking number wise, which is maybe not that big of a difference because Henry and Aljo are pretty similar when it comes to draws, which is kind of weak. But I'm as excited as everyone to figure out how this all plays out. So until then, I'm just going to be grinding, training, getting better, eating good, sleeping good, recovering, and yeah, training. So I'm excited.
They told you in Vegas that regardless of how things shake out, your next fight is for the title. Is that fair?
That's accurate. Yes.
Okay, fair enough. Do you I mean, Aljamain as bantamweight champion, it's been kind of a strange like run for him, right? Because the way that he won the title was by disqualification. Then he had the win over Yan, which was I guess somewhat of a controversial decision. And then of course he beats Dillashaw, who said that his shoulder was badly hurt. Kind of a weird stretch for him, right? Kind of a weird title reign.
Yeah, I mean, I think he said it, but he's laughing all the way to the bank. He don't, Whether
Yeah.
messes with him mentally, we don't know. He could say one thing, but really, I mean, you can sit here and say whatever you want. It doesn't mean it's accurate. It could be, I could sit here and say whatever, but on the inside, I can feel completely different. So he says it doesn't bother him. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe it does. You know, that's about all I got to say about that.
The Cejudo fight is kind of the one that interests you more, it sounds like.
I think it's a better win. You know, beating the two-time world champ, two weight class,
Right.
Olympic gold medalist. You know, I think if you're just going off of that, what win looks better? A win over Aljo or a win over Henry? For me, a win over Henry looks better. But like I said, they're pretty similar as far as draws go. So I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
I feel like if you were to fight Cejudo, that fight would have to happen in Arizona. It would be too big to not happen there, right?
Ooh, yeah. I mean, that would be yeah, Arizona, Vegas, one or the other for sure.
Like, yeah, I guess Vegas wouldn't be the worst option either, considering the geography, right? It's close enough. Everyone from Arizona would probably come out to that one.
Oh, absolutely. That would be massive. I think me versus either of those guys, like I said, the main event, wherever, yeah.
If like the UFC said, or let's say Sterling said he wanted to come back sooner and you were the guy, would you be down with that? Like, would you be comfortable with coming back, sooner in 2023?
Um, I don't know about March, just because like
Yeah,
Aljo didn't really go through a war. Didn't even get hit. I don't think so.
I
I
don't,
don't even
not
think
really.
Aljo got hit. I got cracked obviously pretty good a couple times. And for me, that means I'd have to start sparring soon. And I don't. I'm my number one priority is brain health. Right now, I mean, I haven't had headaches. I feel great. But for me to say, all right, I'm gonna go start sparring next month and start preparing for March, wouldn't be putting my brain health first. And like that's the number one priority. So for me, I think July makes the most sense.
What you just said about brain health being the priority, I feel like not every fighter would say the same. Do you feel like you're kind of different in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's different. You know, I already have a 2-year-old daughter now, and it's like no matter what, I want to be able to watch her grow up.
Yeah.
I want to be 50, 60 years old, forming sentences, and just not be fucking. I mean, freaking stupid. Sorry. So yeah, brain health number one. Definitely, there's other fighters out there that don't get that. I mean, it's science. It's not even just my. It's it's you don't want to be getting hit in the head.
Certainly, certainly. It's a tough business that you guys are in. Last thing, Sean, saw you at the Jake Paul Anderson Silva fight in
Yep.
Phoenix, in Glendale, actually, Arizona, a few weeks back. I know that you're kind of heavy into these like celebrity, social media influencer boxing matches. If you were to do one, let's say the UFC says, all right, yeah, you can do an exhibition boxing match. Who would be your ideal opponent? It could
Floyd
be
Money
anybody,
Mayweather.
celebrity, social media influencer, anybody, I guess, within reason.
Floyd Money Mayweather, of course, 100%.
Okay. Why?
It's the biggest fight. It's Floyd. I love what Floyd's doing. I think it's so funny he's going out there and beating up these YouTubers. I think it's hilarious. I guess it's not just YouTubers. I think he boxed a couple kickboxers and stuff, but
Yeah.
I love what Floyd's doing. Um, I don't watch too much of him. I'll watch Jake. I'll watch Logan. I know KSI and Dylan Dennis are going. The chance of Dylan Dennis pulling out are probably 98%. He's probably going to be concussed from that last right hand he ate in the street. So I'm not too heavily invested in it. If the boys are boxing, I'll watch. But yeah, if I could pick one, it'd be Money May 100%.
Isn't it so funny that people like get mad at Floyd Mayweather for making like a ridiculous amount of money on these exhibition matches? Like if anyone could do that, of course you would do it. Like, why are people upset about
Yeah, it's the same people that said I lost the yawn.
it?
Haters.
What do you think? What do you think Nate Diaz does? Who do you think he fights?
Yeah, I mean the Nate Diaz Jake Paul one. I was kind of
That's a
thinking
big
that was
fight.
gonna. Yeah, I was really thinking that was gonna happen. Now I'm kind of leaning towards it probably won't. I feel like there's not a lot of talks about it with um I don't know. I'll watch whatever Nate does next. Nate wants to box. He wants to go fishing on pay-per-view. I'll watch. Nate's a character.
For sure. Sean, I'll let you go. Thank you so much. Congrats again on the Timex deal. And I guess we'll be seeing you fighting for a title in 2023.
Yep. The Sugar Show 2023 champ, baby. Let's go.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.